Hello and welcome to an updated rally point system that uses ACE. Back in 2016, we released a version that does not use ACE. And over the next 4 or 5 years, we modified the system, experimented with it, tried various different ways of doing it. And we have come to a stable form around 2020. And that stable form has been tested for almost 2 years now. So this script is reasonably matured. So what is the script and what does it do? Just like Project Reality or Squad have a rally point, that was the motivation to create one such rally point system for Arma. The idea being you're in combat, you're fighting. Say you do not have people that day who are doing transportations, and you need to get a respawn back into the field. Like me, I get shot all the time. So if I want to get back into the field, into the action, what do I do? And that's where rally points come into play. All right, so let's do a quick review of what a rally point system is, what we use it for, and I'll demonstrate how it functions. So once I demonstrate how the platoon rally point, the squad rally point, and how those things work, I'm going to show you how to implement this into your own mission. Suppose you're making a mission and you want your players to use a similar rally point system for speed or for novelty, whatever the case may be. I'll show you how to do that. And once we have done that, we will go more into the depths of what the scripts are, how each thing works, what are the details that you need, what are the details that I have added in that I like for flavor, and so on and so forth. All right, so let's jump into it. Maybe you like to almost crash a plane in Generous, or be a member of an organized assault on a downed helo, or maybe like peaceful ride in an open bed truck in the desert, or maybe shooting down helicopters with tows, or prefer to investigate the hobo informant. Join us for multiple adventures in the Armaverse. Our current campaign of Wildlands is a story of troops deep inside enemy territory, trying to make a difference. Will they succeed? Come and find out alongside us every Sunday, 1700 Mountain, that is 1900 Eastern. See you there. So I'm going to demonstrate this in single player. It can work in multiplayer. The only difference is I need more people to demonstrate this. So AI will do for now. Rifleman. Yes, that's me. All right. So there are a few components that you need for this rally point to work. One being the platoon rally point. One being the command center box, which in this case is a data center. And these are your squad rally point stuff, which I'll show you how they function exactly. And we'll come back to this at a later time. This is a medical center that we use. All right. So first demonstration, I'm in combat. I die. I call my squad leader. Hey, I need to get back into the field, or I can't contact him, but he knows that I died because I don't have a long range radio, right? So let's try to place down a platoon rally point. Uh-oh. I need more people around me. In fact, you need 2 other people around you to do this. And that does not count around me. I'm talking about anywhere from 2 to 5 meter range. If I ask them to regroup, they will come close enough for me to deploy. So at this point, I should be able to deploy the platoon rally point. Okay, the timing on this is completely flexible. You can change it in the script. 20 seconds is a reasonable time. We actually use double that in most of our situations. So when you're placing one of these down, you need to make sure the surrounding is reasonably clear. All right, so once this is down, I want you to note what else has come with it. Notice these bags that have showed up, right? Now these bags are basically the squad rally points. There are 3 of them here, and they move with the platoon rally point, which is this one. That medical box has been attached to this platoon rally point, so whenever you deploy the platoon rally point, the medic box will move, provided no one interacts with this box and drags it, because once you drag it away, it is no longer going to show up with the platoon rally point. All right, now we have a PRP. and we have a transport system from the data terminal all the way to PRP. Now let's say that the combat is going on and I'm on a hilltop, right? Sorry, my squad is on a hilltop, and my platoon leader is, my squad leader is like, hey, get over here. But how do I get over there? Maybe they're a click away, depending on how big your operations are and what may happen. So let's deploy the squad rally point here, which is this one. And now I have a one-way transportation available, or teleport technically, from the PRP, platoon rally point, to the SRP, the squad rally point. Okay, now let's demonstrate these, how it actually functions. So I have died, I have respawned, I have what I need. I come to the platoon rally point, and there's a scroll wheel interaction, or add action interaction, to go to either the squad rally point or the platoon rally point. I am not in radio comms. I decide, let me go to the platoon rally point, find out what's going on, and then decide to go back, because most of our missions do have longer respawn times. Okay, so now we are in platoon rally point. I'm in the short range. I call my command and like, hey, where do you want me? I'm back, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, hey, we are in the Overwatch in the hill. Make your way here. Squad rally point deployed. Then I can just move to squad rally point. Notice that box that was here is gone. That's the one that's up there. Okay, I'm going to move to squad rally point. I'm on the hilltop, right? I've regrouped with my team. Ready to fight. Less downtime for players equals more fun, from what I have noticed. So that's one of the reasons why we use this script. All right, some people may prefer more realism. No problem. You do you. All right. So that's how the rally point system works. Now, you'll also notice that I can only move from here to squad rally point. I cannot move back from the squad rally point to the platoon rally point. But if I am at the platoon rally point, I have another option. The option to retreat back. So if I use the option to retreat, see what happens. First, my screen goes black. I have been transported to my fob safely. But this 30-second delay is what is just simulating like, okay, you somehow called in backup or called in a chopper, made your way back, drove a vehicle back, whatever the case may be. It's just shortening the travel time. You can change this to any time. We have it 1 minute by default. Anyway, so you are safe back at base and you don't have control over your mouse when the black screen's on. It's only when that goes away that you have full control over your character again. And that is by design. So don't panic if you just can't use your character during that transportation. All right. The next question that usually pops up is, why are we using scroll wheel interactions when we can deploy these things using ace interaction? And the answer is simple. If I'm dragging something with ace interaction, like a machine gun static position, or a comrade who has fallen down, I don't know, and I want to retreat with them back to base, the situation is pretty dire, I can still use my scroll wheel interaction even though I'm dragging stuff, and thus I can make it my way up here. All right. So that's basically how the platoon rally point works. Now this one, the medic station. So if you're a medic, you actually have an ability to use that, which will help you deploy a medic rally point, a medic point like this somewhere, which simulates you just opening your backpack. And then you can start stitching people, doing all advanced treatments, which in our missions is usually turned off. And you can only do it near a medic station. Anyway, that's a bonus thing that's hidden there. If you want to use it, use it. Don't want to use it, that's fine. All right. Now that I've demonstrated what the platoon rally point does, which is help move to the PRP and then from the PRP move to the squad rally point, let's jump into how do I implement this in a mission that I'm making, right? So let's return to the editor. Okay, so this is how the entire mission looks like currently. Did you notice this thing didn't exist in the actual game? This is just an indicator of where you will come back when you retreat from the platoon rally point. Again, this will be completely transparent and you can walk right through it. It's a very nice indicator for mission makers to figure out where to place it. Okay. I want to make a new mission. Let's make a new mission. So let's stay, okay. I'm gonna make it on, I don't know, Livonia is a map I've not used a lot. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna make a mission over here in Livonia. I don't know, go clear the farmhouse mission, something like that. So let's say the starting point for my mission is going to be somewhere here. This is the biggest difficulty in mission making, by the way, deciding where you want to start. All right, so let's say I want to start right here, right? I want all the scripts to show up. I want everything working, but how do I do that? I don't have any way of doing that, correct? So first things first, let's place down a person and make sure this is working and everything is fine in the mission. Right now I only have one person down. Yeah, he's here, he's moving around, things are working, no issues whatsoever. Cool. Let's save this mission. So save, ignore the bunch of stuff we have, make missions. Anyway, let's call this testing new mission rally point system. There we go. Save. Mission has been saved. Now the reason why I did that is to get a folder that has something in it with a mission.sqm file, and I'll show you how do I transfer my rally point system to this mission. Okay, first we need to take a look at what's inside the mission file. So the ace rally point example that you will have access to will have these things in it: the mission.sqm, which is the mission file, and a few files, including a folder that contains all the script that we need for the rally point to work. There are also text documents here which show what needs to go in the data terminal and so on. We'll get to that later. All right, so I want this exact thing to exist in the other mission. I'm going to copy everything except the mission.sqm because it's a different mission, right? Copy it and make my way over to the testing new mission rally point and plop it in there. All the scripts have been copied over. Now I need the people. Easiest way to do that is to bring the people from the other mission to this one. How do I do that? Let's go back to the other mission. I believe that should be the, yeah. All right, now we're back in this other mission. Now notice that if I try to highlight everything that I can see on the map like this, I get most of it, but I don't get any of the markers copied over because the markers are not seen in this view. If you want the script to properly work, in fact, most of the scripts to properly work, make sure you're in the map view and you're not grabbing your camera, but everything else you're grabbing. Now I can just Control C here, open the new mission, Control V, or I can just save this as a custom composition. It's totally up to you. For my purposes, I'm just going to highlight all of it and hit Control C, provided my mouse is not hovering over any of these objects. Otherwise, it's going to copy only that object. Now that I've copied this, I'm going to open my test new mission Livonia thingy, plop it down there. And voila, it's ready to go. The scripts will work, everything will be good to go. Of course, I don't need this competitor. And I also want to make sure my player is one of these things so I can test in single player. It doesn't matter for multiplayer, but always good to do that. Okay, everything is good here. Now here's the question. I have this here. Will the scripts work? Answer is yes. You have already copied over all the scripting documentation, the scripts, and you have moved the objects from one map to the other. Now if I go into single player, Okay, now we are in single player. Everything is working. I should have access to my scripts, which I do. And I can place it down. Yes, I'm only placing down like a few meters from there. But this is just a demonstration of the principle that you can move it from mission to mission just by copying these things over. There are a few things that you need to pay attention to, which I will show just in case you already have a pre-existing mission and you want to use the rally point system in that mission, right? How do I have these things here? I have the squad RP and I have the platoon RP. Is there a different way of doing this? Does everyone have access to this? How does it work? Excellent question. Let's take a look at the script real quick. All right, now if you notice the team leaders, they have the option to place down the rally point. By default, we have not allowed the squad rally point to be placed down by everyone, only the team lead. But if you want everyone to have access to it, there's a way of doing that too. And I'll show you that with the platoon rally point. Now notice I've given the team leader a name, West Squad Leader 1, WSL1. The reason is this script and many other scripts are actually checking, do you belong to this group? Are you under this player? Are you under the group leader whose variable name is WSL1? If you are, you will go to their rally point, their squad rally point, and not to a different squad's rally point, right? And that's important. So if you notice WSL2, we have RP2, WSL2. Same thing with 3. Now, if you don't want to use the squad rally point, I only want to use platoon rally point, you don't need to have these things named because we are giving the script of the platoon rally point to everyone. But there's a caveat. Let me show you that. Now say I want to play as the medic and play as this character. Notice I am not the squad leader. That's my squad leader. See what happens if I try to place down. Oh yeah, these are floating because they have not been put down on the ground. Okay, now if I want to place a platoon rally point, look at the hint. Become the team leader via ace interaction and try again. I am not the team leader, so I can't place it down. Say the team leader gets shot, right? The second in command can come to team management, become leader, and now they should be able to place down a platoon rally point. No problem whatsoever. We have seen this one before, so I'm going to quit it. So it stops by hitting escape. But also notice, since I'm playing the medic, I have an option to deploy a medical station, which I'm going to do just now to bring that floating object down that we saw. All right, it's over here. And this has a range of about, I don't know, 5 meters or so. So from here, anywhere in this range, you should be able to treat people pretty effectively. Again, we use this. You don't need to use it. Okay, so that is basically how you transfer it over. Now, if you want to make a mission, the tutorial for that is different. I will let you do that on a later date. But for now, the rally point can be moved from mission to mission pretty easily. Okay. Now we'll start looking at the details of the script, how each thing works, what they do, what they don't do, so on and so forth. Okay, so these are the files, and what do each file contain, and what's the magic sauce that makes it work. So we'll start from the top here, the description.txt, cover all these 3, then jump into the rally point and show what are these files. Now notice the data terminal.txt and the rally point.txt. These files specifically are what is already inside here. You notice these text here is exactly what is inside the data terminal file that I have .txt. Now what are these scripts doing? Well, it's telling that, hey, add an add action that says move to platoon rally point, and then use the teleport script to make the player go to this marker or this object. And then this option, this add action, will only show up if the player belongs to the blue 4 team. That's what this option does. And the distance is 4 meters. If you want to make this an universal system where you don't do PvP and only do PvE, you don't want your enemies to use your rally point kind of thing, right? If you want to leave that, you can just leave this just like this, double quotation with nothing inside. And then anyone can use the rally point and move to that spot. But it's an option that we prefer, that way you don't mess it up by mistake. All right. In the rally point, you have the similar option where it says, okay, you want to retreat. So do the retreat script and move you to the headquarters retreat point only if you belong to the west side. Again, same thing, get rid of this line, this everything inside the double quotes if you want it to be used for red 4, for example. Okay, those scripts are actually in here. And if you notice, that's exactly what is in here. So you can just copy paste it, modify it. It's easier to do the editing of texts in these than in the init line. All right, so then we'll go over all these and what each one of them does. Okay, description.ext. What do we have in here? Well, basic stuff. It depends on how you want to use it, but it basically says, hey, there's a respawn delay. This is what we normally use in our game system. It's just something you need. You don't need to use the same settings. Again, you can go here and find out the details of what you want to put. There's also description.ext as a file that you can go as well. All right, init. This is where the first actual scripting starts. We have a marker called RP Mark 1 on the map. And that marker is moved to the rally point, wherever the rally point object is. And I make sure the marker is pointing north, otherwise it may look wonky on the map. That's the main thing. All right. The next script is the init player local script. Again, this is for grass cutting. We have shown this before. I can show it again if you want to. Not that important. Most important thing that we need to worry about is this one, the rally point script. So what does it actually do? So first it creates this W platoon RP, which is what we'll call down here, and add to the interaction menu of ACE. This is ACE interaction menu. This is how you do it. Okay. Now I want an entity of a man, a person, right? And here it is within 15 meters is my distance. I can change that to 5, 10, whatever. 15 is good enough for most practical reasons. Okay. The number of player entities near the player. Now, if the leader is the player, right? You remember there was a thing that's saying become leader? Yes. If they're not, then it'll say, hey, you need to become a leader via ACE interaction, and then you can deploy it. Okay, now that you have become leader and you are the leader, which is what this is checking, and this num is greater than 2 or more than 2, then, because it counts you as well as one of the entities. So if you have 2 people, then you're good. All right, then it'll do this script. And what is this script doing? What this script is doing is basically doing the kneeling animation from ACE, and then giving a 20-second timer. This is where you can change your timer if you want to change your deploy time. Bring the rally point and place it in front of the player by 2 meters, right? And then do the same thing to the RP1, RP2, and RP3, and move them to these corresponding positions around the rally point, right? And then when you're done, it says rally point deployed and moves the rally point mark to where the player is. It's pretty close enough that you know that's where the object is. Okay. And then we add this line over here saying, hey, add this interaction to the player. Now this script, this entire script over here is executed every time a player comes into the game. Init player local. So it'll execute on the new player's machine. So even if someone joins your game after starting the game, like 15-20 minutes later, they will still have access to all the scripts that you place in here. If I place these scripts in the init, which I can, then only the people who join in the beginning of the mission will have access to it. Not the people who are joining in progress. Okay. Now med.1 basically is a similar thing. It's checking if there's at least one more person around you. If not, it'll say you need one more person to deploy. And then deploy the medic station so the medic can actually stitch up people, heal, give epinephrine, and all that nonsense things that you want to do, right? It's totally up to you. Now the retreat script basically tells you that you're going to move. So it is using a simple player set pause script right here and is moving the player to the destination. Destination is defined here. Now what is this thing coming from? This is coming from the script we had before. I don't know if you remember, but in our retreat script, we had the name of where you want to retreat to. And that is in the third position in this bracket, right? And that's what this script is calling. Select 3, the third position. What is that destination? So it's going to set player's destination to that blue or the cyan arrow that was on the map. Now here is where we are taking the control away and also does a full heal. Now we do that because if you're retreating, that's the thing you want to have. But again, it's up to you to take that out if you need to. The black screen effect comes from here. So it gives me a timer of 30 seconds. It does the timer. As it's doing the timer, it'll take controls away from player and then give it back to the player. So here you see you disable user input and then you undo that effect. If you don't do this, you'll be left with players who don't have control over the character. And it's a mess. So be careful. Teleport, simple teleport script. Basically it tells you, hey, you have these 3 things. Make sure you're in the third position is the object you want to teleport to. And then just set vehicle position for the player to that object. You're good to go. Okay, W squad RP1. Again, pretty straightforward. You select the unit, right? The player in this case. And the rally point is again looking for the way of deploying the squad rally point. So it follows a very similar structure to the platoon rally point. You need 2 people, the same script, and deploy it. But this is just called a squad RP instead of a PRP, a platoon RP. And 1, 2, 3 will change depending on who they are. All right, so those are the scripts that we use in this system. Again, you'll have access to all of them. Now, why you need to worry about squad 1, 2, or 3 is because here it checks if the group of you or the player who is being transported belongs to WSL1, WSL2, or WSL3. And depending on that, it's going to move you to the corresponding RP1, RP2, or RP3 position. That's what the script is doing. So the basic idea is it's a fancy teleport script, but it makes life easy and interesting for us. Anyway, so that was all the script and how it works and how you can move it to your own mission. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you use it. And if you do, let us know how it went.